The funny thing is, the law school doesn't teach lawyers how to run a firm or how to run a
Right.
business. And it teaches lawyers legal theory, but it doesn't teach lawyers, not only does it not teach lawyers the practical aspects of the practice of law, but it doesn't teach lawyers how to run a law firm and how to
Yeah.
run a business and how to be an entrepreneur or how to go out there and develop business. These are all things I learned on my own.
Yeah.
And and what I've learned over time is that I love networking. I love business development. It's really I enjoy doing the legal work for clients. I mean, I
Yeah.
am a very meticulous, detailed lawyer. And I love dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making certain that every document that I prepare for a client is an A plus quality document. That's very, very important to me to accomplish.
Welcome to Mastering the Numbers, the podcast dedicated to providing insights into business and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Joe Mallo. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mastering the Numbers. I am Joe Mallo with the Lead Edge Consulting Group. Today on the program, I have Richard Heiser. He's an attorney in his own practice, Richard K. Heiser, Attorney at Law, LLC. Richard, thanks for once again jumping on this interview series with me.
Well, you're welcome, Joe, and thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm really excited to be here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, can you tell the audience a little bit more about Richard K. Heiser, Attorney at Law?
Absolutely. So I am a self-employed business attorney, and I am a business law generalist. So, what that means is that I focus on the representation of business clients only with respect to various areas of business law. So, those areas can include the formation of business entities, such as a limited liability company or a corporation, and the preparation of legal documents related to the formation of those entities. I review, negotiate, and prepare all kinds of business contracts. I review and draft all kinds of employment contracts. I review and draft residential and commercial leases. I represent clients in franchise matters, and that means I represent people who want to buy franchises, and that involves the review of very complex franchise contracts that the franchisor gives to the franchisee, and then
Yeah.
I can write up an analysis and give it and let the client know of specific issues in the contracts that the clients need to be aware of, and then I also point out issues in the contracts that the clients may need to go back to the franchisor and try to negotiate better terms. And then finally, I am involved in representing clients in mergers and acquisitions work, and that involves representing individuals or businesses that want to buy other businesses. And that's related to the contract work that I do because every business transaction really needs a contract to confirm the terms of the deal. I love doing mergers and acquisitions work. It's a lot of fun. It's something that I was born to
Yeah.
do. So if any of your viewers of this podcast need an attorney to represent them in the purchase or sale of a business, I hope that they will contact me to discuss that transaction, and hopefully I'll be able to represent them as their lawyer on that deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was one of the first things I did when I decided to buy into a franchise and start up my own business. I reached out to a business attorney to get all the documents done. So I would say that's probably one of the most important things for that situation, to get it, to do it early.
It is. It is. I believe that every business needs a business attorney to represent them. And that means to guide them through the legal process. Law impacts the operation of business in multiple ways. And every business owner needs a business attorney to guide them through the legal process and then review and draft all kinds of legal documents, primarily contracts, to make certain that their legal rights and legal interests are protected. And that is why every business needs a business attorney. And that's how I can help them. I can help them. My job as a business attorney is to review and draft business contracts designed to keep a client out of a court of law.
Yeah.
And believe me, I used to practice commercial litigation as an attorney. Now I just focus on business law work, and clients do not want to be involved in a lawsuit. So my
Right.
job as a business attorney is to review and draft contracts to protect the legal rights of clients so that hopefully they do not wind up in a court of law with respect to that business transaction.
Yeah. In a way to super simplify that, your responsibility is to protect that business owner and their
Yes,
entity.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So what states are you licensed to practice in?
That's a great question. Uh, I am only licensed to practice law in the state of Ohio. So, what that means is I really can only represent clients who are located in the state of Ohio, unless, with the exception that if they're located out of state, if they have some type of connection with the state of Ohio, then I can represent them. For example, if they're located in another state and they want to buy a business located in the state of Ohio, I can represent them because
Okay.
that's a connection with the state of Ohio.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Is there a particular area in Ohio that you prefer to take on clients, or do you take on clients from everywhere in Ohio?
That's another great question. Although I'm licensed to practice law throughout the state of Ohio, as a matter of practicality, I am located in Cuyahoga County. And so I represent clients throughout Cuyahoga County, both the east side and the west side of Cuyahoga County. I represent clients in Lake County, Portage County, Geauga County, Summit County, Stark County, Medina County, and Lorain County. Now, that's a pretty big geographic area. But any clients located outside of the geographic area that I just mentioned are geographically too difficult for me to represent because they're just too far.
Yeah.
So I try to focus the representation of clients to the geographic area that I just mentioned.
Yeah, it sounds like about an hour radius around from your
Yes,
office.
right, right.
Something like that, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, awesome. So let's go a little bit of a different direction. What inspired you to become an attorney and then to go into the business law side of it and start up your own business as well?
Well, probably what inspired me to be a lawyer is what inspires most people, and that is watching watching TV shows and movies about lawyers.
Yeah,
But the funny thing is, those shows are dramatic, but not always realistic with respect
right.
to the practice of law. But I became a business attorney to my surprise, but I became a business attorney because the first law firm that I worked for was a business law firm. And I found that I love commerce, I love business, and I love the interaction between law and business. And that's why I became a business attorney.
How long have you been out on your own compared to working for another firm?
I've been on my own as a self-employed business lawyer since January 2014.
Okay. Okay. So about a little more over 11 years. So
Yeah, right.
what prompted you to leave, let's say the safety of a larger law firm to prompt you to go out and start your own?
You know, the practice of law is an entrepreneurial profession. And it doesn't matter whether a lawyer works for a large firm, a small firm, or self-employed. Um, the practice of law involves going out there into the community, meeting and developing clients, and building a law firm and building a law practice. And I found that once I went off on my own and built my law firm up, that my mindset changed from thinking like an employee to thinking like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And yes, there's good and bad about being an entrepreneur. It's not for everybody, but I love it. I mean, I love it. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a self-employed business lawyer. So I'm an entrepreneur who works for entrepreneurs
Right.
and other business owners. And so it's a good fit to represent other clients who've decided to open up their own businesses in the business community. And I found that being an entrepreneur is also part of my DNA. I love it.
Yeah.
And I don't see myself ever going back to working as an employee for a law firm or any type of legal employer. I am a
Yeah.
entrepreneur business owner who happens to practice business law for the clients of my firm. And I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've said that once or twice myself as well. I'm not going back to corporate life. So
No.
that's been, after 3 years, I'm just not going back. So what have been some of the biggest challenges you've faced and have had to overcome since starting your own practice?
The biggest challenge is going out into the community and continuing to develop business for clients. Clients, they don't always need an attorney. And I have clients who I've been my clients for years, but they don't always need an attorney. And so I consistently have to go out there in the community and let the business world know that I'm available to represent them. And that involves going out to the community and going to a lot of business events and doing a lot of networking
Yeah.
and developing relationships with people and finding ways to market myself and letting the world know that I'm available to help them as a business attorney. And it's about getting into the mindset of a business owner and letting them accept the fact that they really do need a business lawyer to work with on a regular basis from time to time. Some people want to be penny wise, and I don't know what the term is. They want to be penny wise and pound stupid, really what they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but really what they need to recognize that they need a business lawyer to represent them. And it will cost them a lot less money to retain a business lawyer to represent them at the present time when there is not a legal issue facing them that could cause them to go to a court of law than to cause them to pay a lot more money in the future when they're on the wrong end of a lawsuit because they did something improperly trying to represent themselves.
Yeah.
Um, Again, business owners are knowledgeable and passionate about the products or services that they sell, but they are not knowledgeable about and they do not focus on the legal issues, which makes sense because they're not
Yeah.
trained as an attorney. And that's where I can come in to represent them, guide them through the legal process, review and draft legal documents to make certain that their legal interests are protected. And that is why they need a business lawyer to represent them when they own a business.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's not as simple as just going online and to one of those free websites and plugging in a few names and numbers and spitting out a LLC. I think it's much more important to sit down with somebody.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that's just from my experience. You
Absolutely.
have you have a lot more experience dealing with businesses than I do in a different way, but that's what I've seen. Um, so how is your over the last 11 years or so that you've been in private practice? Um, how's your company evolved, or how's your practice evolved over those years?
Oh, that's an interesting and good question. Well, it's evolved from really, I started this firm without any clients, to believe it or not. And so it's evolved through networking and through developing business relationships with people and through doing very good legal work for clients to starting with no clients to having a significant book of business today. And that's through practicing law with top quality work and top quality client service. The three pillars of my law firm are top quality work at a fair price with outstanding client service. That's how I practice law. It's so important to me that those three pillars are on my website and they're on my LinkedIn profile. And all law firms, most lawyers, are top quality lawyers and they do their best to do great work for clients. But in my mind, at least, that's how I set myself apart from other lawyers because I practice law in accordance with the three pillars that I just mentioned: top quality work at a fair price with outstanding client service. And all three pillars are equally important to me. And so that's how I practice law, and that's how my law firm has evolved over the years since I opened my firm.
That's great. I think those are three incredibly important pillars for not just what you do, but for what a lot of us do. So
Absolutely.
we can all follow
Absolutely.
the leader on that one. So
Right. Absolutely.
to think back to 11 years ago, kind of that hindsight 2020 type question, is there anything you would have done differently in growing your own practice over the last 11 years?
Absolutely. So what I would have done was I would have started my law firm with clients. With clients, I would have started. I mean, I don't recommend anyone to start their firm the way I started my firm, but I wanted to be an entrepreneur and I didn't have a book of business. And the way to do it was to go out there in the community and meet people and develop relationships with people, and then ultimately get retained to represent those clients with their legal matters. So if I could have done it differently, I would have started my firm with a good book of business, and that's how I recommend anyone do it in the future. To be honest about it.
Yeah.
Would I recommend anybody, any attorneys working for law firms today who have thoughts about going off on their own and starting their own firm? My recommendation to them is to go out there in the community while they're working for a firm, while they're getting a salary, to develop relationships with people in the business community, develop their own book of business, and then if they have that idea in their head that they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to open up their own firm, then to take their own clients that they've developed to their own firm. And then at that point in time, they have a book of business and work to do and money coming into the firm as a result of doing good work for their clients. And it is much simpler that way. That is the way that I would have done it differently had I had that opportunity.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, the law school doesn't teach lawyers how to run a firm or how to run a
Right.
business.
Right.
And it teaches lawyers legal theory, but it doesn't teach lawyers, not only does it not teach lawyers the practical aspects of the practice of law, but it doesn't teach lawyers how to run a law firm and how to
Yeah.
run a business and how to be an entrepreneur or how to go out there and develop business. These are all things I learned on my own.
Yeah.
And what I've learned over time is that I love networking. I love business development. It's really, I enjoy doing the legal work for clients. I mean, I
Yeah.
am a very meticulous, detailed lawyer. And I love dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making certain that every document that I prepare for a client is an A plus quality document. That's very, very important to me to accomplish.
Yeah.
But the other aspect of what I love to do as a self-employed business lawyer, I love to get out into the community and
Yeah.
network and go to business development events and meet people. And for those folks who I connect with at those events, I want to follow up and meet them for coffee or lunch and get to know them better and build a business relationship with them. And hopefully over time, they'll retain me as their business lawyer. I love to
Yeah.
do it. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. You're seeing more in college. You're seeing entrepreneur classes, even entrepreneur degrees. Maybe at
Right.
some point they'll start offering those inside into the law degree program. For those that are even
Oh,
thinking about it, or heck, even making it mandatory, to go through a couple.
I agree. I agree because lawyers leave law firms all the time to start their own firms.
Yeah.
And as business evolves and there's new areas of business that become prominent, there are lawyers who might want to practice law in those areas. And as new businesses are created over time, because there's a lot of people now who think that, who want to be entrepreneurs and there are new businesses starting all the time, there's opportunities for lawyers to develop relationships and build a client base with those new businesses that are opening up. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think law school should focus on entrepreneurship. I do,
Yeah.
and instead of just focusing on helping that their students will get hired at law firms, they should focus on helping their students become entrepreneurs. I agree.
Yeah. It just makes sense to me anyways. So yeah, I know how busy you are. You know, you had your own business for a little over 11 years. Do you have any type of work-life balance or integration?
Oh, absolutely. I have to have work-life balance because work-life balance will allow me to maintain my mental health.
Right.
So I have a lot of interests, a lot of fun interests. Uh, would you like me to talk about what some of my interests are? What would you
Yeah,
like
yeah,
me to do?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm a lifetime Greater Clevelander, and as a result, I'm a big rock and roll fan. I think that's one reason why we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Cleveland, because you multiply me times millions of other people who've lived in
Yeah.
Cleveland and grew up when I grew up. So I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge rock and roll fan. I
Yeah.
love listening to music. And in my younger days, I went to a lot of concerts as well. So I enjoy music a lot. I enjoy reading. I enjoy reading about history and presidential history. And, one of my biggest interests is I enjoy reading about international relations and foreign policy. I love it. It's so fascinating. I probably have bookmarked 50 or 60 websites. I love going to lectures pertaining to international relations and foreign policy. If I could change my career, I would love to be Secretary of State of the United States.
Yeah.
I'd love to go around the world and help negotiate world peace, if I could. But if being a lawyer is important to me, and being a business lawyer is part of my DNA, and I love practicing business law. But I love international relations and foreign policy, at least as a hobby, and I love doing that. And then I love working out. I love exercising. And then I also enjoy meditating as well,
Yeah.
which keeps me really healthy and gives me a lot of really solid balance in my life as well.
How's it? Yeah, I've often thought about finding time to meditate to just clear my brain, during the week.
Mhm.
I hear it's great. Makes you feel so
That's
much
great.
better. So I just have to get myself to do it. That's the problem.
Great.
So what's the most challenging part of being an attorney, a business attorney?
The most challenging part is continuing to get business, to be honest about it. Again, my clients don't have a need for me all the time. And I could go months between phone calls from clients as to these are
Yeah,
clients I've represented for years and years, but I can go months between phone calls from them with respect to new projects that they want me to work on. So I continually have to get out there in the community and make certain that the business continues to come into the firm. Now, it's related to what I'd love to do, which is business development and networking and going to business development events. So it's a lot of fun for me to do that, although it's
yeah,
primarily work to try to get new clients by doing that.
right.
But that's the biggest challenge, and that is continuing to get business into the firm.
Yeah.
Because what's really important in life is we got to pay the bills.
You have to pay the bills. I think that's probably one of the most challenging
Yeah,
parts I guess almost all business owners is just continuing to
right,
have new clients come in. So
right,
taking on new
right.
clients, taking on new customers. So over the last 11 years, have you had a support team or a mentor or someone like that that's helped keep you on track or that you've had been able to bounce ideas off of?
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, I've had mentors over the years. Unfortunately, they passed on because they were older than I am.
Yeah.
But what I have is I have other lawyers in the community that I can bounce ideas off of, and they can contact me and bounce ideas off of me as well. I'm also a member of a bar association and a local bar association here in Cleveland, and we have a
Yeah.
listserv. So what that means is that uh, the members of the Bar Association can send a question to the listserv, and other members of the Bar Association will receive that question through an email and then respond. And
Okay.
it's kind of like having 300 law partners.
Yeah.
To It's all virtual, but having like 300 law partners to go out
Yeah.
there into the within the bar association community to discuss legal issues. The thing is about the practice of law is that at times it's very, very complex, and at
Yeah.
times the it's very gray. It's not absolute black and white, and
Right.
it's very gray, and the answer does not always pop up. And we have to do a lot of analysis, a lot of thinking. Sometimes statutes are written very, very ambiguously. And if there are not court opinions that have been published in the past interpreting those statutes, then it's like coming to a fork in the road. Do I turn left or do I turn right? And you've got to use your legal judgment developed over years to try to come up with the correct answer to properly represent the client to protect the legal interests of clients. And that's difficult. That's challenging. That's another aspect of the practice of law that's challenging as well. And but it's part of the practice of law. It's part of being a professional. And the practice of law is called the practice of law because we're as lawyers we're always learning. And one aspect of law that lawyers are trained on is to do legal research. And whether I do legal research online or I go to a law library, there are times when I have to do the legal research to find the answer to proceed and properly represent the client.
Right.
So that is challenging, but I do have a support network of other lawyers that I can go to discuss legal issues that come up from time to time where I need to consult with another lawyer. And because I'm part of a community, I'm there for other lawyers as well. And they do call me from time to time as well to discuss legal issues that are of concern to them as well. So that's great. That's a good feeling. That's a good community to be a part of.
Yeah, I think it's really important as a business owner, sometimes regardless of what industry you're in, to have that support team built around you.
Right.
It can make things easier along the way,
Right.
or,
Absolutely.
or easier than they should be. So, where do you see your practice in the next 12 to 36 months?
I see my practice continuing to evolve with more and more clients, and also my clients who I currently have continuing to call me from time to time when they have new issues. But in particular, I would like to do more mergers and acquisitions work. I want to represent people or businesses that want to buy or sell other businesses. I enjoy that type of work a lot and I want to do more of that type of work. So, if any viewers of your podcast, as I said earlier, need a business lawyer, someone who's thorough, somebody who will go the extra mile to meet to meet their legal interests, then I hope they contact me.
Absolutely. We'll try to get the word out for you as well. So,
Good.
final two questions, and I'll let you go. What's
Yeah.
some of the best business advice anybody's ever given you along the way?
The best business advice is to live my life and to practice law with a lot of integrity. I may not always have the answer for clients, but I can find the answer through doing legal research. I'm very, very good at legal
Yeah.
research. But it's always important to practice law with honesty and ethics and transparency. That's how I practice law. And that's probably the best advice that I received from anybody and that I could ever give to any other lawyer or any other business owner. To live my life and to practice law with honesty, ethics, and transparency. And clients can see that.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned from others, and that's what I would communicate to others as well.
Yeah. I think that's great advice. Final question really is, how how can someone find out more about you and your law practice and ultimately get a hold of you if they want to?
Yeah, that's a great idea. One thing they can Google my law firm name, which is Richard K. Heiser, Attorney at Law LLC, and they can then look at my 5-star Google reviews that I received from other clients, which I'm, by the
Yeah.
way, really proud of
Yeah.
because it's a reflection of not only the top quality work that I did for clients with outstanding client service, but it's a reflection what the clients thought of the legal work that I did for them and the legal services that I provided for them. So they can look at my 5-star Google reviews. Secondly, they can go to my website, which is located at www.heiserbizlaw.com, and I'll spell that out. It's www.heiserbizlaw.com. And that will have a bio of my law firm and my law practice. And it'll also prominently display my phone number and my email address for prospective clients to contact me if they want to talk to me about legal matters to handle on their behalf.
Great, perfect. Everybody reach out if there's something that Richard can do to help. So once again, thank you very much for taking part in my interview series. It was great talking to you again and learning more about your practice and you as well. Thank you very much for taking part.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you very much for inviting me to participate on your podcast. This has been a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed this a lot. Thank you so much.
I told you it wouldn't be too stressful, so I'm glad it wasn't. But and for everybody else out there, thank you for being part of the podcast as well. And I look forward to seeing everybody again on the next episode. Take care, everyone, and take care, Richard.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
You've just tuned into another episode of Mastering the Numbers. We hope you found valuable insight to boost your financial success. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Keep pushing forward, and thanks for listening.